Space Captain John Astrostar steadied himself, the sight before himself stunning him with its awesome inspiringness. Queen Zartana of the Intergalactic Quasar Federation stood before him, her breasts billowing in the zero-G of her imperial robes. "So you finally succeeded in capturing me, I see," said Astrostar, steadying himself stoically.
"Yes, Captain Astrostar. No one can oppose the Intergalactic Quasar Federation, for soon we shall rule the galaxy."
"So what do you want with me? Come to gloat before I'm irradiated in one of your radiation chambers?"
"Not this time, Captain Astrostar. You've destroyed countless space vessels of the Intergalactic Quasar Federation. As ruler of the known universe, you have done dishonor you humans cannot possibly fathom."
Astrostar stared as a bead of space sweat dripped down between her breasts. The purple skin, common of the Quasar people, shone under the light of the ship's hollow rays. "If you expect me to break, you'll find that Space Captain John Astrostar cannot be broken. Space bandits worse than you have tried to have their way with me, and they have all been unsatisfied."
"I don't intend to torture you, Astrostar. I seek something more fulfilling."
Astrostar slicked back his jet-black hair like a cool guy, unconcerned with her words. "Then I'm afraid you shall find yourself unfilled." Queen Zartana smiled evilly as she looked at him darkly.
"I am always satisfied, Astrostar. I have watched as you have outperformed all of my best soldiers and space pilots. You have foiled all my plans to this day. Never have I met a more capable man than you."
Astrostar said, "That's because there's no man like Space Captain John Astrostar," said Astrostar.
"Which is why I sought to capture you alive, Astrostar."
Queen Zartana dropped her clothes to the ground, showing she was totally naked. Astrostar observed closely. "Do you expect me to have sex with you in exchange for my life?" Astrostar asked.
"No, Astrostar. You shall have sex with me. Then I shall take your life."
Okay. Astrostar dropped his trousers, revealing his really big dick, even though he wasn't even erect yet. Putting his hands on his hips heroically, he began to grow really big, in his penis. "Now I shall show you why they call me Astrostar." Jumping onto Queen Zartana, who was on a bed, he started to do some foreplay. Astrostar grabbed her butt, caressing them like bongo drums as she moaned at the gesture. He then started licking her boobs, which she really liked.
"You obviously know how to satisfy a woman, Astrostar,"
said Queen Zartana. Astrostar smiled smugly with a grin, because he knew this was true. More than once had he banged royalty. Growing bored because his dick was out, he injected it into her vagina. "Now I'm going to show you why they called me Astrostar." His hips moved like a volcano, banging away at the queen as she moaned, liking it.
"Oh,"
said the queen. Astrostar started to gritting his teeth. He was close. Soon he would ejaculate. Grabbing her hips, he started going faster, moving his hips like a space badger. Squinting his eyes and biting his lower lip, Astrostar knew he would soon blow his load. "Cowabunga!" Queen Zartana was in shock as she was climaxing. She closed her eyes, moaning as she had an orgasm, which for female Quasarians was not a myth. Slowly, she opened her eyes again. Looking again, she saw her hand was handcuffed to the bed with the handcuffs they had been using.
"What? How did you do this?"
Astrostar's back was to her as he began to dress, with his rock-hard toned buttocks facing her, buttocks which could cut steel. "I told you, no one could have their way with Space Captain John Astrostar, except when it comes to sex."
"No!"
Queen Zartana shouted as she pulled at the cuffs.
"I'll get you, Space Captain Astrostar."
AstroTurf simply smirked as he pulled his pants up, tucking his penis inside. "You're welcome to try, but with John Astrostar, you'll always find yourself unsatisfied."